Nobody taught this generation to save. Everything they grew up inside taught them to bet. The games, the feed, the economy, the apps.
You have the fear of missing out on a trade.
And judging by social media, everyone is getting rich.
We're at $232,000.
Just today, I made $16,000.
Bloomberg looked at all of this and asked how one generation got so reckless. Under that video, the top comments gave a darker answer. People start taking maximum risks when they stop believing in the normal path. But even that is not the whole story. Recklessness, this uniform, this profitable, does not just appear, it gets built. So let's trace how it was built. In 3 stages. Start with the contradiction everyone notices and nobody explains. On paper, this is the most careful generation in decades.
Gen Z has a highly differentiated view of risk.
They don't drive, they don't date, they don't drink. On the other hand, they're also this extremely risk-taking generation.
Careful with cars, careful with alcohol, careful with each other, and all in on a green candle at 2 in the morning. A brand new appetite for risk does not grow out of nowhere. Appetites get built. So let's rewind 20 years and watch this one being built. In order. The preparation ran in 3 stages. First the reflex, then the trap, then the tools. Miss any one of them, and this moment never happens. Stage 1 began inside children's games. Through the 2010s, the biggest titles on Earth quietly added card packs and loot boxes. Pay a little, spin the reel. Maybe get a superstar. Probably get nothing. That mechanic has a name, a variable reward schedule. It is the exact engine inside a slot machine, the most habit-forming reward pattern behavioral science has ever documented, and it was running inside games rated for children. Regulators did notice. Belgium examined loot boxes in 2018, called them what they are, gambling, and banned them outright. Most of the world let them run. So an entire cohort pulled its first slot machine lever before it was old enough to drive. Then the reflex moved into the pocket. Infinite scroll. Pull to refresh. Pull the handle. Wait a beat. See what comes up. The feed trained the same loop 1,000 times a day. Anticipation, reveal. Anticipation, reveal. Until it became the default motion of a thumb.
Bro, it's simple. If you can scroll TikTok, you can trade.
That line is usually played for laughs. It might be the most honest sentence in this whole story. Trading apps were built to feel like scrolling because the reflex transfers. It was designed to transfer. Stage 2 is where it turns cruel. A reflex only becomes a compulsion when the alternative feels pointless. So look at what this generation watched money do at every age that mattered.
Some of them were children during the Great Financial Crisis. They certainly felt the stress of their parents, losing quite a lot of their stock market portfolios, or maybe even losing their homes.
Lesson 1, learned at 8 years old, the careful path can still lose the house. Then those same kids graduated into a pandemic economy, a hiring freeze, and rents that outran every raise.
I'm part of Gen Z. We seem to be constantly getting priced out of everything. Owning a home, being able to afford to have kids, being able to afford a wedding ring, rent keeps going up, the wages keep stagnating or going down, unemployment is rising. So there's a desire to try and find your own way because the system doesn't seem to be working for us.
Economists at Northwestern and Chicago measured what happens next. When people give up on ever owning a home, they consume more, work less, and push their savings into riskier and riskier bets. There is a name for that mood now, financial nihilism. If the ladder is gone, the lottery is the plan. And notice, that is not a character flaw, that is arithmetic. Now hold the 2 stages together. A childhood that installed the slot machine reflex. An economy that made the slow path feel like a joke. Everything was loaded. The only thing missing was the casino itself, and it arrived exactly on schedule, 3 deliveries in 5 years. Delivery 1, 2018. The U.S. Supreme Court struck down the federal ban on sports betting, and within a few years, most states had legalized it. The casino did not wait for anyone to visit a strip. It shipped itself to the lock screen, with odds, boosts, and parlay alerts timed to game night. Delivery 2, 2019. Stock trading commissions went to 0, and the brokers found a quieter way to get paid. selling their customers, order flow. Follow that incentive to the end. If the broker earns on every tap, then the app's real product is taps. So the apps borrowed everything the games had learned: confetti, streaks, and push alerts at the opening bell.
Gamification has been one of the biggest themes in retail investing in the past decade. It's rewarding a lot of parts of your brain that you might get if you're winning something, and it reinforces certain behaviors, and it makes, say, investing in a stock fun.
Delivery 3. The products themselves got faster. Options approval in a couple of taps. Zero-day contracts that expire the same afternoon. Prediction markets that turn every headline into a bet slip. And crypto keeps the lights on all weekend. A casino with no closing bell.
Take the US options market, which was once the domain of professionals at hedge funds and trading desks. Look how trading volumes have notched record after record in recent years, driven by itchy retail investors.
Now watch the sequence in one line. The reflex was installed in childhood. The ladder was removed in adolescence. The casino was delivered right as they came of age. Legalized, gamified, and free. Any one of those alone is a footnote. All three in that order on one generation. That is a production line. Now, a fair question. Maybe this is just what young people are like. There is a clean way to test that. Take the same generation, same age, same phones, and raise it next to a different machine.
There's one study that looked at Gen Zers in China and find that they are more risk averse than other Chinese generations. When you look at their investment habits, they're more likely to invest in gold.
Same brains, same age. Different inputs, different outputs. In Europe, where the betting apps came slower and the safety nets held longer, the risk-taking is quieter too. The variable was never the generation. The variable is the machine it was raised inside. The last piece closes the loop, proof that it works on every screen. Because the feed only ever shows the winners. The losers delete their accounts. The winners sell the course. Bloomberg's own comment section called it first. Everyone is a genius in a bull market. And
please.
Order filled.
Oh my gosh, dude! God dang it! Bro, I lost 152K.
Under those clips, the quiet part finally gets said out loud, thanks for the exit liquidity. Every one of those losses is somebody's revenue. The platform takes the fee. The market maker takes the spread. The league takes the sponsorship. The state takes the tax. What we are told is a generation's bad judgment is, line by line, somebody's business model. So, was there a room where all of this was planned? There did not need to be. A game studio, a social platform, a broker, a sports book, a state house. Each one independently found the same vulnerability in the same young brains. Each optimized it a little further. And not one of them was paid to stop. That is what systematic actually means here. Not a conspiracy. A convergence. Every incentive pointing at the same reflex, until the reflex looks like a personality. Which is why they skip the car, skip the drink, skip the date, and still go all in at 2 in the morning. Nobody built a $1 trillion pipeline to sell them those other risks. The one risk they take daily is the one that was packaged, legalized, gamified, and delivered to the pocket they were raised inside. Bloomberg's experts ended with a warning. Do not patronize this generation. They are right, but not in the way they meant. This is the first generation raised entirely inside the machine, which also makes it the first generation that can actually see the machine. And a reflex, once seen, stops being a reflex. It becomes a choice. Maybe that is where this story turns. If this reframed anything, follow authentic context. Next, we are tracing who profits when a generation stops believing in slow money. And tell us below which stage we notice first: the games, the feed, or the apps.